So what we've been doing these Sundays is to create a template for ourselves for our daily practice. So it's given us a routine to follow, a set of prayers and remembrances, motivation, and so on. And so the idea is to follow this, and then as we do that, and we begin to memorize this sequence of prayers and remembrances, it really solidifies our daily practice and gives us a firm, confident uh, foundation on which to base the rest of our lives. So the whole thing is about changing our lifestyle. So we're developing one-pointed mindfulness, and this one-pointed mindfulness includes this awareness, includes this spirituality. So we need to be able to overcome our grasping that has brought us to where we are now in this life. And, and we have to recognize that this life is, excuse me, that this life is a blessing. We've given ourselves this great ability to be able to enjoy these teachings and to be able to practice these teachings. And this is a wonderful thing. But at the same time, to be able to move beyond that, to be able to bring that in, to be able to recognize that and not hold on to that, but to let go of it. Because that's what the liberation is. That's where the freedom is. So we've talked about that. And so all these practices and teachings are a means to be able to recognize that and to develop the confidence to be able to let go. So we need to be able to study, we need to be able to contemplate, and we need to be able to meditate. So excuse me, my chest is still, my throat is still blocked up. The pollen is very heavy this year. So from the study, from receiving the teachings, from reading the books and so on, we're developing an intellectualization of what's going on. And then we have the contemplation, we have the conversation with our own self, thinking about these things and applying these things to situations that arise in our lives every day. And so we have this contemplation, and we set aside time to allow ourselves to have the space to be able to do that. And when we are doing that, as we are doing that, we get to a point of quiet. We get to a point of restfulness. We need to allow ourselves enough time to be able to do that. It may not happen right away, but eventually it will over, several sessions, maybe several weeks, maybe a couple of months or something like that. We'll start looking forward to that time to say, oh, I can't wait to have that peace of mind. I can't wait to have that peace, that time so I can think about these things. And excuse me. And then what happens is we find ourselves entering into the meditation, this quietude where there seems to be no thought. We don't even recognize it as we're doing it, as it's occurring, but we recognize it when we come out of it. We recognize, oh, here's a thought. I haven't had a thought for a while. So that's a great thing, a powerful thing. And then we say, oh, now I understand, and I will continue this. So the meditation comes out of that. Many times you'll read or you hear people talking about, oh, well, I want to meditate on that. I want to meditate on the color red, or I want to meditate on Shenrezig, the Bodhisattva of compassion, or I want to meditate on this, that, or the other thing. And to do that is this process of taking your notes, thinking about what it is, contemplating all the different ways in which this engages in our lives and so on, and then have that quietude with that. So everything is fuel for that process, for that meditation. And slowly we begin to simplify. Slowly we begin to find the space that we're looking for. So included in there is some exertion. We have to have some effort to be able to do that. So we have to have an effort of virtue. We need to recognize virtue, that the reason why we're doing this is for the virtue, is for the goodness. And we're trying to overcome our non-virtue by recognizing the non-virtue. And that's how we purify the non-virtue. To make it virtue is that process, bringing it onto the path. The path is the path of duality, of dualistic nature. That's what we as human beings, that's our path, is to be able to recognize that and not suppress that, not say, oh, I don't want to go there because it's non-virtuous. We need to bring that non-virtue onto the path, because that's where it gets illuminated. That's where we get to see what are the causes of the non-virtue and the results of the non-virtue and the actions of the non-virtue, all that, etc., by examining it, by bringing it onto the path, not suppressing it. So we recognize virtue, we recognize non-virtue, and we're moving in a forward direction. We have to recognize the sense of when we're stagnating, when we're getting lazy, when we're getting indifferent, when we're getting careless, or we start going backward. We stop doing our practices, we stop reading, we stop doing our meditation and so on, and we start regressing back. We see that anger is starting to come up more and more, maybe desire is coming up more and more, jealousy and so on like that. So we begin to recognize that our emotions are getting stronger with us. So we have to have a realization of our forward momentum, and to maintain that forward momentum. And when we start getting lazy, when that starts stagnating, to exert ourselves, to make the effort, say, I got to re-engage, and then do the process of what's necessary to do that. And then out of that comes certainty, that we begin to build up a confidence, a certainty that this is indeed working, and that my life has changed, feeling better. Other people are recognizing this. Other people comment to me about how, I'm a much more pleasant person to be with, or maybe that they don't see me so much. Maybe some friends say, oh, I don't see you so much. And you're thinking to yourself, yeah, because you're always such a negative person, I don't want to be around you. So that's why I'm not talking to you, or, I'm not calling you, or you're not calling me. Or so we begin to build this certainty of what we are doing is a important part of being a human being, and that we can no longer postpone it, that it's something that we've wanted to do but haven't had permission to do. We haven't given ourselves permission to be able to take the time to be able to develop this awareness, this spirituality, to look into different traditions. Whatever interests you is fine. I think being a spiritual person, whether you're a Christian spiritualist or Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or whatever, is all good. Because it's all talking about, that third body, that we physical body, intellectual body, spiritual body. So it's all pointing in that direction. So whatever spirituality it is, I think is good. So that's building certainty for us. So we need to build the exertion of restraint to avoid the unwholesome factors, to be able to create some guardrails for ourselves and say we're not going to, do certain things. We're going to have warning signs for ourselves. We're going to recognize those things. So that's the exertion of restraint. Then there's the exertion of overcoming, where we're bringing those difficulties onto the path, and the results that have come from those, we need to overcome those results. excuse me. So we need to recognize that the things have happened as a result of the negativities that we've indulged ourselves in. So we need to overcome them, and we overcome them by the change. And of course, we've said several times that that is the great gift of being a human being, is that we have the ability to change. We have the ability to improve ourselves. So just because we've made mistakes or non-virtues in the past doesn't mean that we're committed to have to continue those mistakes. We can change our direction. We can overcome those choices that we made. And then there's the excuse me, the exertion of developing wholesome factors. So by making lists for ourselves, I think is very helpful. As we've been going through this, we've been uh, seeing that there's 4 of these, there's 3 of that, there's 7 of those, and there's 12 of these, and so on like that. These lists are things that help us to develop our one-pointed mindfulness. They're kind of helping us to engage in a helpful way, and sometimes we need to have the discipline and able to do that. So by creating these lists for ourselves is a real technique in which to do that. So I encourage you to always keep paper around, pencil and paper around, make yourself notes, particularly when you're sitting down and you're doing your practices or you're doing your studies or something like that. So we're developing the exertion of developing wholesome factors. And then the last is the exerting and maintaining our practices. So this is what we've talked about is dedicating a certain time a day when you can um, sit down. You can have a 15 minutes or a half an hour or an hour, whatever you can afford to do, um, to create that discipline, that exertion, to be able to maintain that, to sustain that, to keep doing that over and over again. And the more that we do it, the more we want to do it, and the more it will increase, the time will increase, and the depth of what it is that we're looking at will increase as we go along. So I've shared a few book titles with you, and maybe you've been able to get some of those books. You can certainly find some books on your own. If you have more questions about books, I'll certainly give you more titles that you can explore. But this really helps us to exert ourselves on the path by reading things that other people have written, other people have said, and so on, what their experiences have been. We see ourselves in those people. So that's a very good thing. So those are 4 exertions of effort that is a necessary ingredient to be able to be successful becoming a practitioner. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Any discussion? Okay.
I think for me, this is something I was kind of mentioning last time as well that I'm still trying to feel out is like in terms of I guess it'd be related to the last one you mentioned, but of developing a practice of it be like you said, I don't know how much time I can devote each day can kind of differ. I'm trying to get like more time, be more disciplined with it. But there's definitely, to be honest with myself, just like a limitation on how much time. Like it's rare that I can spend like more than an hour a day, like practicing. Some days maybe, but um, and for like how much practices to engage in, and like the building up of like more and more like practices where it's like, am I ever really like digging deep enough on any one thing, or just like, or even confusion of like, well, what do I practice? It's in like the 4 thoughts and the bodhicitta or the compassion practices, and then then the like I was doing this, which was really great, the Shamata retreat yesterday. I was there at the center, and I think that's an important thing for me to practice. And then like the deities and everything, it just seems like it becomes so much. It's like, what do I do at some point? I don't know how related that is to what you were saying, but that's kind of like the thing that weighs on me a little.
Well, I think exactly what we've been talking about. It starts with this routine, and then it has to be an organic thing. You know, we use that word all the time. Organic, meaning that it grows on its own. You will feel what is natural to you. You know, where do I want to go? But it's where I want to go after I've gone through this routine. The routine is what's important, to establish that routine, because that routine is guiding us in this virtuous direction, is giving us the ground on which to work. Then where we go after that is, where our mind rises. The shamatha meditation is the calm abiding that we're trying to get to, that calmness, that peacefulness, and so on. That shamatha. Then the next thing that happens, and it happens on its own, is the vipassana, or the vipassana of meditation, which is the arising, the insight that arises out of that quietude of the shamatha. When you're sitting there, thoughts about doing mundane things are coming up, phone calls you got to make, places you got to go, meetings that you've had, conversation, all this nonsense or everyday stuff is coming up. And it's very easy to recognize that and to say, oh, I need to just not think about that today. I'm going to move that aside. I can make a note and come back to that later on. I don't have to let my meditation become interrupted by that. But then you have this quietude, and then thoughts of coming up of, well, what does the bodhisattva mean? Well, what is the bodhicitta? Well, what is the Buddha? What was this that we were talking about? What was that we were talking about? These insights start to come up, where we see how that spirituality is intersecting with our physical body and our intellectual body in our everyday life. That's the vipassana. That's called insight meditation. So if we don't do the other things, that insight is not going to come up, or it's going to come up in such a fragmented way, we're not going to be able to recognize it. We're not going to be able to do anything with it. So we need to be able to establish that quietude and openness to allow that wisdom, because that's what those insights are, is our inner wisdom, to come up. And then we begin to recognize that and say, oh, now I see I am Buddha. Now I see, oh, I am a bodhisattva. I am on that path. Oh, I am becoming a practitioner. We begin to see those things. So that's the thing that arises out of that quietude. That's the vipassana meditation. That's the analysis. But it's spiritual analysis. It's not talking about the Dewey Decimal System that they use to categorize books in the library. That's a very practical thing, but it's a spiritual thing about how does, the six human realms operate? How do I engage with that? So we wind up answering our own questions in that way. It takes us in the direction that we need to go. And when we start doing that, we have faith in that. And then you say, oh, this is so great. We call that the enjoyment body. The enjoyment body. Maybe I've mentioned this before, but we talk about that this mind of spirituality is called the Dharmakaya, the body of the Dharma, the body of truth, the body of realization, the Buddha body, or the Buddha mind. So it is unborn. It's so pure. It's undefinable. It's beyond our human being ability to be able to intellectualize it. We can experience it, but we can't intellectualize it. However, we begin to recognize the display of it. the display in which it displays, the symbology of it. So, Carl Jung would talk about this. He spent a great deal of his life's work, talking about the symbols of our lives and so on. And I'm not an expert in this, so if I say the wrong thing, forgive me. But I think the analogy here is a good analogy, because he started talking about the symbology of human beings. So this Dharmakaya has a symbology to it, and it's very enjoyable. And we call that the Sambhogagaya. That's the Sambhogagaya. That's the enjoyment body. So this is something that the artist will draw. This is something that we can look at, pictures we can look at. These are descriptions that we can create for ourselves. This is an articulation of our investigation. It's not the Dharmakaya. It is a display of the Dharmakaya. So what that means is it's not 100% pure. The intention is pure. Everything is pure that motivates it, but yet there's still an attachment, because there is an identity to it. We're creating an identity to this Sambhogagaya, to this enjoyment body, and this gives us a way to wrap our human minds around it, so to speak. The other is, so that's called the speech of the Buddha, or the intellectualization of the Buddha. The first one was the mind of the Buddha. The Dharmakaya, the speech of the Buddha, is the intellectualization, is this symbology. Then the body of the Buddha is called the Nirmanakaya. The Nirmanakaya, and the Nirmanakaya is the actual embodiment of that Dharmakaya in a form, like typically a human form, that we can see, that we can hear, that we can have a conversation with. And that Nirmanakaya being, the Buddha being, the historical Buddha, and through all the teachings of the Buddha and all the subsequent lamas and everything, are there to be able to point out to us, to be able to say, hey, Lance, this is what you need to be doing. Hey, Lance, you're doing the wrong thing here. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on in your life, to have that one-on-one. So that's the emanation body, the emanation of that truth that we can be able to have that conversation with. And it's not a completely pure conversation. It wants to be pure, but it's impure because we're bringing our confusions with us, and we're trying to air them out and so on, to be able to understand them. And that's the purity of the impurity, if you will, the purity of the impurity. That's the refinement. That's the purification process, to be able to do that. So that's the emanation body of that truth, emanating into a form that we can have a conversation with. So that's what we're trying to do. So as we are moving from the bottom up, we're engaging in the teacher, we're engaging in the emanation body who's pointing things out to us. Then we're engaging in the intellectualization of what all that means, the Sambhogagaya. We're engaging in that. And then when we're in the right position, when we're in the right space of our mind and so on, then we have that transcendent experience of being able to go from the impure body into the pure body, which is the Dharmakaya. That's the pure meditation. So that was a long way of answering the question that Matt had asked. How do I know what to do? We will answer that in our own way. If we are following these instructions, if we are following this routine that we are giving you. And where did this come from? This came from the Buddha. And it's been sustained generation after generation after generation ever since by those who follow the Buddhist path. And again, it's not exclusive. I mean, there's the Christian path, there's other paths that are all very valid and so on. But for us, the Buddhist path is very well articulated and is very comprehensive. And that's why, for many of us, it's most enjoyable. Okay. Ryan, how are you this afternoon, this morning? Good to see you.
Thanks. I'm sorry I'm late, but good to see you guys too. And
Okay.
always nice to be with you.
Thank you. Good to see you, and I hope I get to see the kids while we.
Oh, they're gonna come interrupt in no time, as usual. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, we haven't started our practice, so we're going to start our practice, and I want to introduce another part of the Shamata technique to everybody. So I put off doing our opening prayers until we can continue this and continue this through the end. So this is going to be a meditation part. So Matt, would you mind being the umze today and reciting the opening prayers for us, please? I presume everybody has your 101 book handy, or a reasonable facsimile of, and can
I will, but my ability to pronounce the Tibetan is embarrassing to say the least. So
that's fine. That's how we all start, and that's fine. And you do the best you can, and it'll be terrific. So that's how we improve. So by putting you on the spot,
let's do it.
Is part of the technique. Okay, we'll do that, and then I'll take over when we get to the four thoughts part.
Okay. So we'll start with the altruistic motivation. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles in my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dogla dang war je pedra, no par je pege, Tarpa dang tam che kien pe badu chopar je pa tam che ki so je pe manam ka dang nam pe sim chin tam che de wa dang din du now dang drel nor du la na me pa yang dag pa zog pe chag shu rimpo she to pa ja. Go to the action bodhicitta. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. De che du sang ma ge ki bar du lu nangi sam ge wa la ko. Ma she bar du lu nangi sam ge wa la ko. Du de ring ni song te ni ma sangye samgi bar du lu nangi sam ge wa la ko. We'll go to the long refuge prayer. We take refuge in the kind root and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Drinchen Sawa Dangyu Parche Pe Pelden Lama Dampa Nam La Kyab Suchiyo Yedam Kyokor Gila Song Nam La Kyab Suchiyo Sangye Jom Den De Nam La Kyab Suchiyo Dampe Cho Nam La Kyab Suchiyo Pagpai Gindun Nam La Kyab Suchiyo Pawo Kandro Chogyong Song Me Sogye Shi Ki Chendang Denba Nam La Kyab Suchiyo. Go to the Bodhisattva vow. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Zhangshub Ning Por Shi Ki Bar Sangye Nam La Kyab Su Chi Shodang Zhangshub Senpai Yi Sog La Yang De Shin Kyab Su Chi Jitar Nong Gi De She Gi Zhangshub Tu Ni Ke Pa Dang Zhangshub Senpai La Pa La De Dag Rimshin Ne Patar De Zindro La Pendondu Zhangshub Semni Kye Gizing De Duni La Pa La Rimpa Zindu La Pargi. And we'll go to the short refuge prayer. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sangye Shodang Soki Chognam La Jiangshu Badu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Jinsu Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Penshir Sangye Drupasho. And then the four immeasurables. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam ka dang nyam pe sem chen, tam che de wa dang de we gyu dang din par gyur chik. Du now gi gyu dang dra wa gyur chik. Du now me pe de wa dang mi dra wa gyur chik. Ne ring chak dang ni jang dra we dang nyam la git ne par gyur chik. Okay.
Please do page 12.
Likewise be extinguished extinguish all enemies to my purpose. Whatever evil forces are in me be defeated. Do this so that when I am victorious, all pure radiance melts into me completely purified. Take all this knowledge, food and drink peacefully, enjoy it, and be satisfied so that all obstacles may be destroyed. Be liberated from all obstacles, all general obstacles. Mars are defeated by this gesture of the Buddha. By reciting this mantra, may all the Mars be purified. As a result, may all the Mars be defeated.
Very good. Thank you. If everybody will sit in meditation position, please, keeping your back straight. 7-point posture of Varanchana. Our legs crossed, our back straight, our hands 4 inches below our navel, our shoulders back, our head just a little bit forward, our chin down, our eyes open or closed, but open just in a gaze in the direction of our nose. Very peaceful. Our eyes can be closed so as not to be distracted at this time. Our mouth can be slightly open and our tongue on the roof of our mouth right behind our front teeth to keep our mouth moist. As we are breathing, and as we breathe in through both nostrils, bringing the air all the way down to 4 inches below our navel. And then we hold that breath, and then we exhale through our nostrils. And we hold that breath when it comes time. So we maintain this posture throughout our meditation practice. You can move about it, whatever you need to do to remain comfortable. Don't let yourself be in discomfort, any kind of pain. Move your legs, move whatever you need to do, but return to this posture. Keeping your back straight is the most important element of this. So stay comfortable. So first we recite the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. So precious human life. Oh, this kind of leisure and endowment is supremely difficult to obtain. When one obtains a body which is easily lost, do not waste it meaninglessly, but rather use it to attain ultimate liberation, joyous result. So contemplate the meaning of precious human life. Your mind wanders, just bring it back to your contemplation. Precious human life. You can recite the prayer back to yourself, reading quietly. Okay, impermanence. The nature of all phenomena is impermanence. Death is a certainty to all who are born. Death can descend any time like a drop of morning dew on a blade of grass. Quick, it is time to make effort for the essence of the Dharma. Contemplate impermanence. Your mind wanders, just bring it back to the meditation of impermanence, to the contemplation. You can recite this over to yourself. You can see why it's so useful to memorize these prayers and to memorize these practices. Becomes effortless. Next, we contemplate the suffering of samsara. In the three lower realms, and even in the three higher ones, there is not an instant of absolute happiness. I will avoid the root cause of my samsaric existence by practicing the excellent path of peace to enlightenment. Contemplate the suffering of samsara. The next contemplation is cause, karma, and result. The fruit of one's positive karma is happiness. Suffering is the fruit of negative karma. The inexorable karmic causation is the mode of abiding in all dharmas. Henceforth, practice the Dharma by distinguishing between what should be practiced and what should be given up. Contemplate karma, cause and result. Now we meditate on the stages of meditation. And the first stage of the meditation is the meditation of the method of loving kindness. How do we understand love? Loving kindness. We do that through the example of the mother. All sentient beings, limitless as infinite nature of space, have been our mothers from beginningless time until this lifetime. Therefore, for these kind mothers to sustain happiness, it is necessary for me to relinquish hatred and to develop loving kindness. So we focus on the four kindnesses of the mother. She gave birth to our body. She would give up her life for us. She taught each of us what to take up and what to abandon. And she performed austerities for our benefit. These are the four kindnesses of the mother that display her loving kindness for her children. And becomes examples for ourselves, for all sentient beings, as if all sentient beings are our mother. So contemplate on the method of loving kindness to attain enlightenment. The next stage of the method of enlightenment, to attain enlightenment, is visualizing the mother in the six realms of samsara. This teaches us, shows us compassion, to have compassion for all beings as if they are our mother. If our mother was caught in any one of the six realms of samsara, what we would do to help our mother in whatever way we can becomes an example of how we can help all other beings, visualized as our mother, who are caught in those six realms of samsara. Even though these mothers desire happiness, by the force of their non-virtuous actions, they are tortured in the three lower realms. Because of their unbearable suffering, I develop unbearable compassion. Visualize one's own mother suffering in each of the six realms. being tortured by demons in the hell realms, experiencing hunger and thirst in the preta realm, being beaten and eaten in the animal realm, suffering sickness and old age in the human realm, experiencing heedless pleasure and conflict in the demigod realm, the jealous god realm, the titan realm, and desperate falling from pride in the god realm. Contemplate the suffering of the mother and the compassion that we arise for the benefit of our mother, unbearable compassion for her unbearable suffering. Next stage of meditation is the method of empathetic joy. To visualize our mother as all sentient beings. To attain enlightenment, we visualize that may our mothers have happiness, and may they be free from suffering, and may they sustain the happiness which is free from suffering. But despite all the noise, all the confusion surrounding, that they are able to sustain their happiness, maintain joy in their lives. May we maintain joy in our life as we wish for our mother, and we wish for all beings to maintain that joy. So meditate on empathetic joy for all sentient beings as a method of enlightenment. The next stage of meditation is equanimity, the method of equanimity. And we visualize our mother going through all kinds of changes, all kinds of challenges, all types of confusion, all kinds of happiness and joy. But nevertheless, may my mind abide in equanimity towards these mother beings, whether they are happy or they are sorrowful, whether they are going through difficult times or they are going through easy times, that we have equanimity for our mother and for all beings. And may all those beings, they themselves have equanimity towards all others, a tolerance, a peace, a quiet of all beings. So we meditate on the equanimity of bodhicitta, the stages of meditation. So now we recite the four immeasurable qualities of bodhicitta. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. And we contemplate, we meditate on the fifth method to attain enlightenment, bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, the wholly enlightened mind, loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Now I lack the ability to bring happiness to these migrators. Therefore, I engage my mind diligently to attain the supreme ultimate state and bring these mother beings to complete happiness. Bodhicitta, the unity of emptiness and compassion. I make effort to practice the ultimate Dharma beyond conceptual thoughts. Vajra Samaza, the indestructible vow that breaks through, the discipline that we use to be able to recognize and stabilize our bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings. Everything that we do through our body, speech, and mind is loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Meditate on bodhicitta as the method to attain enlightenment. So next we'll practice the Shamata Calm-Abiding meditation in the same way that we did last week, just for a short time to refresh our memories. In Shamata Calm-Abiding meditation, we can use an object to help us to focus our mind from jumping from one thing to another. So we can use a visual object, something that is calm, that is peaceful, that is loving, something that speaks of our meditation, of our quietude, of our spirituality, an image of the Buddha, for instance. Or we can use a mantra like we did last week when we recited Om Mani Padme Hum Shri, to center our mind, to focus our mind. And as our mind is wandering, we bring it back to the mantra, to the recitation of the mantra, the meaning of the mantra. So this is what we'll do right now for a few minutes, and then we'll take a break and come back for the next part. So, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om, the body, speech, and mind of the deity. The deity is Shenrezig, the bodhisattva of compassion, who is within ourselves. Om, the body, speech, and mind. Mani is the jewel. So we visualize the bodhisattva of compassion, ourselves as the jewel, as an indestructible diamond. Om Mani Padme. Padme is the lotus flower. We are sitting in the lotus position with our legs crossed and visualizing that the jewel, our body, is sitting in this lotus position. It is nested in this lotus posture, this pure posture. The lotus is symbolic of the purity of arising from defilement. Like the flower, the seed that is in the bottom of the ocean of samsara and sprouts and comes up through the body of water and then breaks the surface of the water and blossoms as this beautiful, unstained lotus flower, is symbolic of our lives, of ourselves, comes from this defilement, but at the same time is capable of this wonderful, pure purity. So Om Mani Padme Hum. Hum is the indestructibility of this wisdom that manifests in our heart, of this compassion, this indestructible manifestation of compassion that manifests in our heart as wisdom. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Shri is the seed syllable of the primal cause, our primal cause for bodhicitta, our primal cause for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, is rotating clockwise around the seed syllable Shri, the primal cause for the enlightenment of all beings. And this is our object of meditation as we recite this mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. 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 Aum Mani Padme Hum Shri. Aum Mani Padme Hum Shri. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum Shri. Now we'll take a short break. Try and maintain this melody in your mind. Om Mani Padme Hum. Try not to engage in any meaningless conversation. We'll come back at 20 minutes, 10 minutes to the hour. 10 minutes to the hour, we'll come back. So we'll take this short break. See you in a few minutes. If you want to stay, you can stay. Continue to meditate, recite Om Mani Padme Hum. So we're returning back to our meditation. So to remind everybody that what we are doing is establishing a routine, a discipline in which to be able to focus our mind, focus our attention, rest our body, rest our intellectual mind in the process of developing our meditation. So this Shamata meditation is a meditation with an object. So in this particular instance, we're using the mantra as an object, and then we are going to switch to our breathing. We are going to watch our breathing as an object, which is going to help us focus our mind, to rest our mind in that, our little mind, and then that opens up our big mind, our spiritual mind, our heart and our heart center. So let's continue with the mantra as we were reciting it before, just to get back into the groove, and then we will switch into the breathing. So the breathing we will do for 20 recitations. So you'll follow me, but you'll know that it's 20. That way you know what's coming, and you're not anticipating or getting anxious. Well, when's this going to end or something like that? So we see that what we're establishing is this discipline, that things don't happen very easily when we just do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 5 recitations. Not so much happens. But when we start committing to bigger numbers, we start seeing that some changes take place. So that's why I'm letting you know what it is and why we're doing it. and that you can do this at home yourself. This is establishing this practice, is what we're trying to encourage here. So we begin with the recitation of Om Mani Padme Hung again as we left off. Om Mani Padme Hung, 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 Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung, 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 Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung, 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 Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung, 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 Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung, 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 Om Mani Padme Hung Shri. So maintain your body position, please. Keep your back straight. Now we breathe in through both nostrils, bringing the fresh, clean, pure air 4 inches below our navel. And we hold that breath. We expand the belly. As we expand the belly, it pulls down on the diaphragm. The diaphragm is connected to the lungs and opens up the lungs and brings that fresh, clean air in. So it like sucks that air in. We hold that breath. Our belly is extended. Our chest is neutral. We're not breathing from the chest. We're breathing from the abdomen. And then we exhale by compressing our abdomen. It presses against the diaphragm, which presses against the lungs, forcing all that stale, negative, dark air out. And we hold that vacant breath. And then we continue the cycle, breathing in, holding, exhaling, and holding. So breathe in through both nostrils, fresh, clean, pure air, expand the belly. And hold it. Exhale, force all that stale, negative, dark air out by compressing the belly. Be very forceful with it. Hold that empty breath. Keep your back straight. Breathe in. Exhale. 1. Breathe in. Exhale. 2. Breathe in fresh, clean, pure air. Circulating throughout our body. Exhale. All the collected, stale, negative, dark air being forced out. 3. Breathe in. Out. 4. Keep the body relaxed. Keep the back straight. No tension in your arms or in your shoulders or in your legs. Breathe in. Out. 5. Breathe in. Out. 6. Breathe in. Out. 7. In. Out. 8. In. Out. 9. In. Out. 10. Breathe in. Out. 11. In. Out. 12. Breathe in. Out. 13. Breathe in. Keep your body relaxed, not stiff, relaxed. Keep your back straight. Out. 14. Breathe in. Out. 15. Breathe in. Out. 16. In. Out. 17. Breathe in. Out. 18. Breathe in. Out. 19. Breathe in. Out. 20. Breathe in very deeply. And out very completely. Keep your body in this position, relaxed. Breathe at your own pace. Your mind wanders, bring it back to watching the breath. At your own pace, breathing in, holding, exhaling and holding. And just let your mind rest in watching the breath. Peaceful, quiet, calm. We'll continue this meditation for 10 minutes, then take a short meditation break, and come right back to the meditation again. This is the same watching the breath that Buddha Shakyamuni used during the time that he attained enlightenment. This is the classic technique of developing shamatha meditation. Take a deep breath and hold it, and raise your arms up over your head. Bring your hands together over your head and look up at the ceiling. Stretch your arms, stretch your back. Hold the breath. Exhale, relax your arms. Open your eyes. Take a short break now. Just relax. Stretch your body, whatever you need to do.
Say hi.
Hi, David. How are you?
Good.
I saw you meditating. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Take it home.
Oh.
Yes. Om Ahom. So good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we go back into meditation. We'll do a shorter 5-minute meditation. Same thing. You can hold your breath, watch your breath. When your mind wanders, keep yourself relaxed, keep your back straight. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. And continue your meditation for 5 minutes. Just let thoughts come, let thoughts go. No holding on to them. Just stay relaxed. Your mind wanders, becomes agitated. Just bring it back to watching the breath and letting the thoughts go. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale. Open your eyes. Stay relaxed. Take a short break between meditation. Okay, one more 5-minute session. Stay in the 7-point posture of Varanchana. Keep your back straight. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale and hold it. Relax. Breathe at your own pace. Use watching the breath when your mind wanders or gets agitated. Take a deep breath and hold it and raise your arms up over your head. Look up between your hands and look at the ceiling and stretch your back, stretch your arms, stretch your neck. Hold the breath. Exhale, release your arms, let them come down to your side. Take a deep, hold the breath. Inhale again, raise your arms up over your head, look up between your hands and stretch. Exhale, release your arms. One last time, take a deep breath, raise your arms, stretch, look at the ceiling between your hands, stretch. Exhale, relax your arms. Breathe normal, open your eyes. Okay, very good. So that completes our Shamata meditation for this morning. Anybody have any comments or thoughts about this? Emma, what did you think about this?
This was really hard for me, actually. I'm really anemic and like I was getting really dizzy and stuff. So I was doing a lot shorter. Like I probably did like over 100 breaths on the 20. But yeah, it was getting easier and better. So practice, yeah, I hope. But yeah, do you have any tips on like what's like too much exertion and how do I keep it healthy too?
Well, I think using the frame of what we just went through, and if doing shorter periods, shorter inhalations and exhalations is better for you, then moderate it that way. Do it that way. But you say that when we were doing the long holding the breath and exhaling, that was too that becomes too stressful in your system. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I don't get enough oxygen.
All right, so just do it quicker. That's all.
Thanks. Yeah, it's probably nothing like a marathon, Zara. Good job, by the way. But the other thing too is it was really hard not to use my chest too, maybe because I need a bigger breath or something.
Well, maybe so, but again, this might have been the first time that you've tried this. So, we continue to do this over and over again, and it becomes easier, and we find ways that we can modify it for our own needs. But
Thanks.
but you can see that there is a great benefit there.
I think it'll actually be good for the anemia too. Yeah, if I gradually push it. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Emma. That's good. Anybody else have a comment or question? Zara, what did you think?
I just realized you couldn't hear me. I apologize. I like to be part of the 5 series. I really liked today in the I liked how you ended today, basically, with the kind of the learning throughout the weeks, and then this was very useful for me. And I've made shifts actually over the course of our 4 or 5 weeks together and my meditation. So this morning I had already meditated 30 minutes prior to 9 a.m. And this was really useful though. And I'm thinking about ways to fine tune my meditation that I already have. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Ryan, how about you? You've been doing this for a long time. How does this practice help you?
Well, I think a lot. I really like the working through the four thoughts and the qualities of bodhicitta, the four immeasurables, and I liked it all. It was really helpful. And I've been doing it for a little while, but I'm still really a beginner at all of this too. So I feel like all of it was just really awesome and really helpful. It helps to have a guide, you know. Sometimes it's challenging to figure out what to focus on or what prayers to practice, or you know, how to spend the time that I have, you know, between practicing patience for whatever reason. And so it was excellent. I think it probably helped me just like everybody else in the same ways, you know.
Well, thank you. You have a good teacher right there with David. He's a good teacher.
Yeah, I get plenty of practice. I have a lot of benefactors of patience, as Garchman Rinpoche would say. And love, a lot of benefactors of love too.
All right, David, thank you for joining us, David. Okay.
You say thank you. Daniel, come say hi.
Oh, is that Daniel? There's Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks. No, not yet.
Okay. All right, Gary, could you say something? How's this helped you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I was having a little trouble. I like the practice. It helps. I meditate during the day and sometimes during the middle of the day, and this helps to recenter me on what I should be doing. I also wish I'd started as young as Ryan's children. I'd be long. But yeah, it's very good, meaningful practice, and it helps focus me on what I should be doing when I meditate.
Very good. Thank you. Alex, I see you're with us. Did you have a comment for today? Thank you for joining us as you've done. Thank you.
Yes. I had to combine it with some exercises for my back to alleviate some tension there. And it worked. I think it did. And also, I didn't have a good night's sleep, but now I feel very refreshed, as if I just woke up and had a long, deep sleep. So and also, like, I was expecting to have some kind of unsettledness or restlessness at the end, but actually I enjoyed that kind of peaceful mind state. I almost regret it when we had to stop. So the only question I had is, when we in Shamata meditation, we will follow our breath, and I have an idea that it may have to be very kind of thin and like light breath, and then what we would focus on, like if the breath is really light, we might not even feel it anymore. And, is that ultimate thing that you don't feel your breath and your mind is totally calm and nothing really, it's coming, like any kind of focus or any kind of sensation goes into emptiness? Is that the idea? Or do you still want to really feel some kind of flow, some kind of sensation on which to focus on?
Well, yes, in the beginning, it's very focused and very strong. But then as we progress along each session and from session to session, day to day that we do this, it becomes more subtle. But we need to know that we can go to that very strong, powerful inhaling and holding it and exhaling, that very rigid part of things, to get ourselves back on track. But yes, the ultimate goal is to be very effortless and very calm and very peaceful and so on. But with that comes that our mind can wander very easily as well. So when it wanders, we need to know that we can come back. So that's what we were trying to emphasize in this session, was the structure of this watching the breath. And then as we become more masterful at this, the more easier it becomes, the more natural it feels to us.
All right, thanks. That helps. That kind of vibe.
Yes. And there's many other breathing exercises. There's many other ways of watching the breath. There's many other techniques that are associated with particular practices that as we progress along in our career as being a Buddhist practitioner, we'll become introduced with. So, but the basic one is the one that we have learned today. And we need to master that. Not that we have to master it to the point that we can't move on to other ones later on, but we need to really concentrate on this one to get a firm foundation of this type of practice here, because it's so simple, so basic, and we always have our breath with us, and it's very calming no matter what.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So thank you all very much. We'll do our dedication. So if you have your dedication books or your your prayer books, we'll start on page 18 and continue. So please recite out loud along with me and think of the meaning as you are doing this. Dorje Chang, Talopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dormolargampopa, Pagmadrupa, and Lordri Kumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessing of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve the all-knowing state, and may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate road of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Trikumpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams, and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate road of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Mars, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Om, Ah, Hong. Om, Ah, Hong. Om, Ah, Hong. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you. So we're going to take off next week. Well, maybe you can join us for the Mani Druption, and I'll send the Zoom link as soon as I get it. I'll put that in the WhatsApp. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So whatever you can join will be magnificent. There'll be teaching of what the practice is and so on that Khenpo will do, but then there'll be a lot of mantra recitation. So whatever you can join will be wonderful. If you have any questions about it while you're attending, don't hesitate to email me or something like that, WhatsApp, and I'll try and answer them as in real time as we're going along with that. So, and then after that, we'll continue with introduction to several of the important deities like Shenrezig, Green Tara, Manjushri, Vajrasattva, Vajrapani, and Vajrayogini. So we're going to spend time talking about those deities in the coming Sundays, in the coming weeks. Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lance.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Sounds
day,
very good.
everyone.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great plan, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah, many of the people haven't had any, don't really understand who those deities are, and they're all within us, you know, and to recognize the significance of them and how we approach them. So I think that'll be
Right.
good. Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll see you next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Or this week.
This week's going to be a little tough, but maybe next week.
Okay. Okay.
Let's make a plan. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'll have busy week as well, I think.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Take care.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.